Well, the sound of music explains what time it is or what station you're listening to. And check the time, get it right. It's about 26 minutes to the top of the hour, 26 minutes to 12 on a Monday on this radio station. You know, you should be listening to Power Solutions. And yes, we're here for another episode of this amazing show that brings to you the best of information in the renewable energy sector. And the show is powered or sponsored or supported by energy investment company All On. And I do have, as a co-host joining me to ride, or what do you do to a boat? What do you do to a boat? Like you don't ride a boat now.
You're not comparing me to a boat now, Abi.
No, what I'm saying, the show is a boat, and I have a co-pilot. Okay, let me use a plane then. My co-pilot on the show today is the beautiful Jadesola Rawa. She is a policy and partnership associate of All On. You know that already. So we are piloting this plane together.
Yeah, because I was going to be like, I'm in Concorde, you know, like the creme de la creme of the. Good morning, Lagos. Thank you for having me again.
And we have a special guest joining us. But before we bring the guest, let's let you know that our focus today is enabling access to clean energy for Nigerians. That sounds like, you know, what all Nigerians need. You know what has been the experience in recent time with the price of diesel, the fact that, you know, the electricity, the grid, the national grid, PAFO card, if you know what that means. and all of that. So it's very important for us to, you know, intensify this conversation on enabling access to clean energy for Nigerians, and that's our focus today. Jades would do the honors for to let us know who our guest is today on the show.
And I would love to do that. She's a beautiful person. I was just having a chat with her before the show. So I'm excited to introduce Lape Onalaja.
Thank you so much.
She's the director of operations at Switch Solar. And I'm so excited about, oh my gosh, she's a radio virgin. So remember the last virgin we had? The last radio virgin we had.
Yes.
Don't worry, you have fun. It's the best way to
I'm
get.
already loving the energy. Both of you are amazing. I love it so far.
I was like, we have another radio virgin.
Doing a lot of that. But you're going to have fun, I'm sure about that.
You.
And but you know what? Lagos and indeed Nigeria, if you're listening to us, you can stream this conversation live on Facebook and on YouTube. There you can see our guest's face. You could also see, Jade's amazing face.
And then you can see Colin's
suit.
Well, you could check that out.
You can check out the suit.
Anyways, let's get back to the first question today.
Okay.
Now, we know that you are a community development specialist.
Right.
And would you like to tell us more about your professional background and how did you switch
into solar?
So
those are
Switch
part
solar.
of the thing. So I'll say my name first. My name is Lape. Nice to meet you guys, both of you and everybody listening. So I was talking to Jade before we came into the show and telling her how most of my experience is different sectors, but there's a core strand running through everything, right?
Okay.
So I've consulted Lagos State Ministry of Health, and what we do is we have a project that's expansive throughout the entire state. So in terms of grassroots, communities, facilities, different stakeholders, we've done all of that kind of work before. And then the other part of what I do is also in the development space, and that's working with NGOs. And we've been able to fundraising, engaging stakeholders, the whole nine yards, building community projects that are sustainable. So that kind of experience is what led me into Switch Solar. If you don't mind, I'll actually share how we even started and how I came.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Was there something specific that happened that?
So the NGO that I founded is called the Koba Leader Initiative, and what we did was we hosted a workshop last year in January, and we had some youth from the community, our focal community in Aja, come and just talk to us about what was going on, and we also used it as an opportunity to train them on renewable energy, open their minds to other career opportunities available, because we believe very strongly that you can come and do the outreach, give goods and all of that, but the moment you can educate someone, you're unlocking an area in their mind, and it takes them to the next level. So we had that training. We partnered with Lita of Light UK, and they came in, trained them on assembling, deassembling solar home systems, taught them the science behind it, and then we were able to just sit down and listen. As their minds were getting unlocked, you know, we started hearing conversations like, actually in my community, we haven't had light for 8 months stretch. We haven't had light for 9 months at a stretch. We have generator fires going on in the community. People are using candles, but it's leading to fires as well. You know, they can't study at night. So all of these challenges was what led to the birth of Switch Solar. We sat down with the current founder and we thought, okay, what can we do that's suited to this community? And that was kind of what gave birth to Switch Solar.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
I got goosebumps.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because those are like the kind of organic stories.
Yes,
right?
it was very much organic. It was
Yeah.
organic. We did this solely because it was need-based. And I think when you look at the facts, when we look at the data, when you look at what people are going through, it's a no-brainer in terms of how we needed to implement and what we needed to do next. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm so excited to get into the mix of this conversation. But I mean, but before I, I'm sure sometime later we'll ask you about, how you guys, since last year, how you've expanded and all of that. But one of the things I'm really curious about is data mining.
Right.
So I'm like, what exactly is data mining services? And I know you guys at Switch Solar provide that. So tell us a bit about that.
So when we're going into a community, it's really important that we just don't assume that people are ready to receive whatever it is that we're offering. So the data mining component of it is really simply put, is making sure that we're giving visibility, right? Is giving us the data we need and making sure we have the information we need to move in a strategic way, so that we have the baseline data on industries according like electricity, on education, on health, what's their current income level, what's their current access to healthcare, so it's cross-cutting. What kind of jobs are they doing? Are they going to be able to pay for this solution that we're bringing to the table? So it's all those kind of things. And then we were at Switch Solar actually developed an app recently which we're using in-house and still testing. And what that does is it makes data collection at the field level a lot easier, a lot more effective, and all those analytics will help in the long run in terms of deciding what communities you should go into, how compatible they are with the project you're doing. So it gives you visibility essentially. Yeah.
I mean, one thing about a success story that is genuine and real and owned, is when you can explain it.
Yes.
We know for those who are religious who say, well, success can't be explained. It's usually the grace. But looking at it, the way you've explained the story, how you started, and how detailed you are with going into, the mining, data mining.
Exactly.
I mean, that explains that. Look, you guys know what you're doing, and you know why you're here.
Exactly.
Well, let's move on, all right, to the bigger problems right now. 49% of Nigerians have no access to power supply. Well, let's say approximately over 100 million people. How do we achieve electrification for households with no access to electricity in Nigeria? Are we leveraging renewable energy enough, or is there need for us to do a bit more?
Okay, so the simple version of the answer you just asked me is yes, right? We need to do a lot more, and that's why we have Olon and other kind of development companies that are coming in to invest so that we can have more expansive reach. But the solution is expanding the renewable energy sector, right? It's making sure that it's decentralized and making sure that we companies like Switch Solar have the funding they need to go out and expand into communities that need it, like the ones that we work in across Etiosa currently.
Okay. All right. So before I ask you the question I have in mind for you, when you talked about the app that you guys have developed and all of that, I'm a bit curious about that. So is there any plans in the future, and this might be a preemptive question, right? But do you have any plans in the future to expand the use of that app to other providers who are pretty much your competition?
Of course. Okay. So the long-term plan is to expand to create this service where other people, other partners within the space can subscribe to it. But for the meantime, we're redefining or changing the algorithm, just making sure that it works perfectly for what we need it to. And then the moment we're ready, we'll definitely push it out and make it open and available to other partners within the renewable energy space.
Awesome. So now to my question, I was going to ask you about the distribution of your SHS systems. You talked about a community in Etiosa.
Yes.
So do you want to tell us, just give us a quick run through of other, have you expanded outside of Lagos? What communities are you serving?
Okay, so fantastic.
Please explain that
SHS.
For someone
So
who
we gotta
doesn't know.
break it down.
Break it
of
down.
course. Okay,
I'm feeling myself, after a few years in this industry, I've been using acronyms, like, exactly, like, let's say HSS.
Let's break it down.
I was very careful. I don't want to do that. But SHS,
No, please don't.
SHS is Solar Home System,
Yeah.
right? For anybody who doesn't. But your question is, what communities we've been working since we started? We started off in our focal community in Aja, right? And since then, with the help of the access to the grant, which I know we'll come up later.
Course.
But with access to the grant, we're able to expand to other communities. So not focusing anymore on solely residential areas, but also moving into MSME dense areas as well.
Okay.
So we've been able to, we're still primarily in Etiosa, but with time and with access to more funding, we're definitely going to expand. There are plans to expand to the 20 local governments in Lagos State and then other states as well. Yes.
Awesome. And I'm glad to see Olon has played a little
Yeah,
part.
you have most definitely played a huge part in what we're
Please,
doing.
when are we going to get that grant?
You need it. I was going to actually.
No, but it's okay. We can continue. I'll be doing it by myself.
Okay, if you are just joining us, it's 11:45, and you're listening to Power Solutions, brought to you in partnership with Energy Investment Company, All On. And today we're taking a look at enabling access to clean energy for Nigerians. And you just heard the amazing voice of Lape Onalaja joining us now. She's Director of Operations, Switch Solar. Jade's got the next question.
Okay, all right. I mean, I can,
You got this.
You can get lunch.
I can be sure.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you about, you talked about the fact that when you went into the community, it was kind of like an eye opener for the youth in that community.
Yes.
So, is there anything that stands out to you in your engagement on the community level? Anybody that has maybe said, prior to this, I had no clue what I was gonna do with my life, but this is
okay. So what I'll say is that before we moved into the community, and it touches onto the data mining, we carried out a feasibility study, and what that did, it gave us a lot of data in terms of what was going on within the community space itself. For example, we know that a lot of the people within our focal community earn less than 20,000 naira a week, and we also know that they spend more than 25% of their money on power expenditure, so getting access to power. Now I'm going to ask you, how much out of that 25% that they spend out of their salaries, how much power do you think they get daily?
Both of us did jam question.
So what we found was that they have 19 hours of no access every single day. And for these people, what's more unfortunate is the fact that this isn't disposable income, right? It's not something they can just. This is their work. This is their everything. So those are some of the facts that have really set us in the right direction and make sure we're a bit more aggressive in our approach, making sure people do have access. We've been able to engage community liaison officers and even some technical guys as well to help with our installations from the community, and we're giving them jobs. We're making sure that they're represented. Yes, we're making sure they're represented while we're implementing. Community buy-in is extremely important in the sustainability of the project. So they have to be on from day one, and that's something that we've integrated into how we're running the project, right? I'll talk about, I've said households, now businesses. I was talking to one of our new businesses that we just onboarded a few weeks ago, and he was telling me about, he poster child for MSME in Lagos State, right? And he was telling me how much he spends a month on diesel alone, and it's 50,000 upwards. It's choking his business. And so when we were able to offer him and just talk to him about what we have available, a fan kit for his store, 14,000 naira for 2 kits actually. So 2 fans, access to 12 lights, and it's solar powered. He was ecstatic.
Wow.
Can you imagine the decrease in the amount of money he's going to be spending on energy? And so those are the stories that we hear that encourage us. Those are the stories, that push us to know that we're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. You are.
Someone is clapping, so let's allow that sink in. Let it sink in. Yeah, well done. Well done indeed. Now, I like talking about money. Let's get to this part of the compass, of the matter, as it were.
With this suit, you must like
you indeed were announced as one of the 7 winners of a $10,000 grant. at the just concluded 2021 Clean Technology Hub and All-On Incubation Program. Now, how would you describe the impact of this program and especially specifically on your company?
Right. So we've already spent the money. I would just say that we spent it really quickly.
I wasn't going to ask for it. I was not going to ask.
Audited accounts.
But we went into two things, right?
Yeah.
And the first thing was increasing our product range. From the study that we did, we know that a lot of people wanted a certain type of kit. We have the light kit, a base light kit, which has 6 light bulbs in it, but we also have another kit which we're able to expand to the fan kit. It's a 40 kilowatt system. It comes with 6 lights as well and a standing fan as well.
Oh, wow.
So with that, we were able to expand our product range, and also we're testing it right now with MSMEs and people in the community to see if the product is best suited to what they want and what they said they wanted. The second thing we were able to invest in because of that money was a more efficient way of collecting payments. It's really important for us that we're meeting people where they are. Most of the people in the communities use button phones, right? So that means making payments for them, making it the easiest thing for them to do is USSD codes. Yeah. So we're invested right now in that technology so that payment is as easy as pressing some numbers on your phone, and you can renew your subscription to the plans that we have. So it's the money went into those things.
Now, apart from the money, right? The question also had to do with the hub itself, the experience at the hub.
Yes.
How did that affect you apart from the money?
Okay, so definitely in firms, they invested a lot of time and hours in our management in making sure that we're sound in terms of leadership, in terms of HR engagement, in terms of procurement, across board really. And so I can't begin to speak about the amount of time and resources they put into that, and we're so grateful. We had so many templates that were developed as a result of that. Our systems were more structured as a result of all that those hours as well. So they did most definitely put in non-financial support as well.
Right.
And when she says
that's
my colleagues, we're
Jade,
Adobe, Celeb, Frances,
everyone.
So we really appreciate that.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank
Beautiful.
you so much. I mean, one of the things I was going to say is at the end of the day, All-On is not just an investment firm.
Right.
What we're like the core of what we're interested in is for the sector to grow.
Exactly.
So whether that's even an All-On investee or not, everything that we do is get towards making sure that the sector grows, and then when it grows, there's a ripple effect.
Exactly.
So the question I was going to ask you is, and I think you touched on this a bit, but how have you worked to make sure that your services are affordable?
Okay.
Because like you said, you're working in communities where people, this is not even their disposable income.
Exactly.
This is, so what are the things that you're doing to just make sure that everything is balancing, so to speak?
It's making
sense.
I
exactly.
get that. And so what I'll say is that it's not that solar energy solutions weren't available before, but the startup cost is what deters a lot of people from getting involved. And so what we've done at Switch Solar is we have a pay-go model, which basically means that people pay for what they have, for what they're using as they go.
Nice.
Okay.
So we have weekly plans, we have daily plans, we have monthly plans.
Wow.
You can buy it outright, but at the end of the day, the core value, the core meaning of what that is just that if Mr. Sumola has 1,000 naira a day today, he's going to pay that 1,000 naira, and we're going to unlock the system for him for the length of days. Exactly. So it makes it we're financing at their pace. And I think that's something that's unique, and it's not something that a lot of solar renewable energy companies do. So that's how Switch Solar is different.
Oh, wow,
and
that's awesome.
That's how we ensure we're making it affordable for people.
Sorry, I was just going to say before I let Colin take the next question. So, you, because your operations for now is in Lagos, I think somebody even sent a message to Colin.
Yeah, we get it. Someone is asking,
saying, how can we
they
get the system? So I'm thinking, if I wanted to buy it for someone who lives in, say, Oyo State, for instance, how would is it possible?
So it is possible. What we'll do is that they can purchase it outright, and in terms of that plan as well, we'll work it out in the long run how that is. But it's very possible to expand to other states. Right now we're focused on Lagos and perfecting that entire stream in Lagos, but there are other plans to and they can reach out to our Instagram, Switch Solar HQ, Facebook, and also as soon as they send messages there, the response time is pretty quick.
Awesome.
Okay, let's look at your solutions. Let's get back to the products. He's talked about affordability. We're clear. But who specifically are these solutions for? I know you've touched on that in your conversation, but I want us to, spell that out again. Who are your current, what you have available right now?
Yes.
Who are they for? And once again, how can they get across to if they want to buy or maybe just rent or whatever it is they want to do?
Okay, so who is our target market? Is underserved communities, right?
Okay.
Everybody has some sort of access. Most people have access to the grid, but the truth is that it's not consistent.
That's right.
And it's not reliable. And sometimes it's also not affordable. So what we're making sure we're doing is underserved communities, unserved communities, complete no access to grid as well. That's the focal market. And then MSMEs, so communities and MSMEs. And the truth is we all fall into that bracket of unserved to a certain extent. So communities, underserved, unserved, and also MSMEs as well.
So in other words, if you haven't had lights, and to put it straight, you haven't had lights, your light is not straightforward, they bring you today, they take it tomorrow.
Your lights
are or maybe you are doing business, you realize that the diesel money every day you are spending on diesel. And maybe let me clear you well. Maybe your guy, the person who's buying the diesel, will go, you say buy 50 liters, he will come back.
I'm not sure.
And you're weighing this. This is not up to 50 liters. Instead of money to miss along the way, things like that, you can simply just switch to switch solar.
Exactly.
And, get them, get across to them. They'll give you a solution that would help you. So how can they find you?
Okay, so on Instagram is Switch Solar HQ. That's again Switch Solar HQ. Same thing on Facebook. And then as a phone number, you can call 0903 586 7640 and you'll get a response.
Okay, take that number again.
0903 586 7640.
All right, for those of you sending me messages and saying that you want to have a solution, better get the message.
Sending messages to call.
Oh my goodness!
Already,
so I'll be expecting. We'll be expecting messages on.
So do that. So when I get the message, I also forward them to Jadesola so that you guys can get across.
Definitely be happy to share. So I think we've probably just got a few minutes.
Yeah,
just to tell us what's your plan for people always ask this way at interviews, and I'm like, you should stop asking this question. What's your 5-year goal? If I tell you what my plan is in 5 years, you will not hire me.
Right.
No, but what's your
the long term,
the long term plan,
right.
exactly. So short to medium to long.
So the goal by 2040 is to electrify 1 million households. And so 1 million households and businesses. And one thing, our catchphrase, Colin's got it very well, is switch to solar. Whoa. We're trying to educate in the long run as well, because a core part of what we do is actually community development. So this components of getting people of the solar power, it's one component, but it's actually in the long run getting people to invest in their own development. Because of this the money that they're using to do this, we're able to, there's a decrease in how much they're spending, like I mentioned with the other man with his MSME, from a 50K monthly expenditure on power to 14K, right? So because of that decrease in expenses, we're able to see more businesses scale up. We're able to see a bit more flexibility in what they have, what they're able to do with their money, right? So that's also a core part of what we do. And yes, the numbers matter, but we're also interested in seeing the people that are in solar and that are using our product. We're interested in seeing them have more wholesome lives. That's
okay. 1 million households and businesses in by 2040.
2040.
And we will be here rooting
most
you
definitely
as family on all the way and supporting as much as we can.
Go switch.
And obviously more go switch solar, but what we're interested in is also more partnerships, right? We need more investors, and we've applied to the current grants as
exactly
well.
I'm sure. So you see, the thing about All On is we kind of support our businesses from like the angel and early stage up until we so that when you guys are like multi-billionaires, like when we come to your office for appointment, we're like, I used to remember. I remember
Jade is a day one. Is a day one.
Ladies, I'm enjoying this conversation. I don't want to let you go, but we have to go. Our time is fast spent. But one thing is for sure, All On is legendary when it comes to supporting businesses of this nature. And that's no doubt. Thank you, our beautiful guest.
Thank you so much.
Onalaja, for
Lape.
joining us on the show today.
Yes.
And Jade, it's a pleasure to have you as a co-host, always.
And of course, this is what it goes down in the history books as well. Me, Collins, the suit. Thank you for having me,
Thank
Linga.
you so much for having me as well.
All right, guys, that's it. Stay tuned. The news coming up. Wamimo Adewin is on standby to bring you Africa's most authentic news bulletin. Bye for now.
When it matters most, turn on your choice for the best of sports,
Manchester United 3, AFC Bournemouth 1.
news, and great conversations.
Ken has never changed anybody. It has only hardened people. Please let them ban it completely.
On 99.3 Nigeria Info. Talk never stop.
When I collect my salary, my husband will lock me in the house and make sure I submit to